is up, YouTube? It's Keri. I'm here today inside of my classroom, as you guys can see, and I decided to come in during the fall break because I just, needed to get some things done, some copies, some planning, that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to do a very short, quick vlog today about what I'm doing inside of my classroom. So let's get started. Closing up here. I am going to be heading out to make some copies right now. So I usually try to do this during the break, especially when we have some things that we have to do as a grade level, which is why I'm here to make copies for everybody on top of the team. And yeah, I just kind of prefer it to coming into school rather than on the first day of coming back from break. I have to, of course, make a bunch of copies on that day. So I don't usually prefer that. Oh, it's better to just come in and just do it here at school, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to kind of get done today, and I definitely wanted to do some planning. So we're gonna get into that for sure when I'm done with the copies today. So, okay, hopefully the library will be open. That's generally where I make most of my copies. Nice. Got some other people in here. Is it alright if I close this? Sure. Yeah. Give you guys some privacy. Oh, see, I'm not the only one. Alright, so I'm gonna get started here. I'm gonna start making my copies and getting everything ready. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Alright, just got done making all my copies, as you guys can see. Took a lot longer than I thought it would take, but we got it done. So we're going to be using these at the start of the second quarter to assess our students, which is why I wanted to get them copied off as quickly as possible. So that way we can start doing the assessments, and this is how we're going to be doing our intervention with our kids. So really want to make sure that we identify what they need, especially when they're going to be doing small groups and reading and things like that. So hopefully it turns out okay. I don't know. Made it back. I'm gonna have to open my door as best as possible with my one hand. Oh, sorry. Probably getting too much of a close-up of my face. Alright. Alright, so another part of today that I kind of wanted to start and to get done was just a little bit of planning for the next quarter. I usually do this on the weekend or sometime during the days of the week, but generally on the weekend, since I don't have a lot of time after school. I have other things that I have going on during the school day, but it's perfect because I'm here during the fall break. This is my one day that I'm coming in to do work, and I'm not even staying the whole day, but with whatever I can get done now, I'm just going to try and get it done. So, of course, one of the main things that helps me is my planner. This is a planner by, if I recall, Purple Trail. So I don't necessarily always use Erin Condren planners just because I feel like sometimes they can be super expensive or, not always like my design aesthetic that I particularly like. And I found Purple Trail to sometimes be a little bit cheaper. So this is my planner that I ordered from Purple Trail at the beginning of the year. Back way before August in the summertime and all of that, and this is what I've been using so far, and it totally is awesome. I love planning and figuring out what I'm doing for the entire week before that week even starts. So I did do this on purpose. I have 2 different color covers for my particular planner. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of unique in that sense where I just have 2 different sides that I can look at. But basically, like any other planner that we have here, just with any teacher in general, you're always going to have your, your weeks all laid out. And you can write in whatever you want to write in and stuff like that. I personally do like to use colors when writing inside of my planner, just because it helps me to visually organize and kind of see what's next or what else is happening during the day. Sorry, my handwriting can be kind of a mess, but generally that's fine. Like for myself, it's just something quick and dirty that I know that like this is what I'm doing. I do also have some papers inside of my planner as well. So these might be my grade book, or these might be papers that are used as a part of tests and things like that. So I just generally try to just keep them in here and on hand. That way, in case I need it or I can't find it, it's generally going to be inside of my planner. Do planners work for everybody? No, of course not. I have some people who don't use planners at all through their whole entire course of teaching. They just know exactly what they want to do, and they plan literally by the moment, which is how some teachers work. For me personally, I like to have a plan. I like to know when we're having waiver days or professional collaboration days and other things like that. It just gives me a general idea of what I'm doing. And so I'm going to be kind of shifting the camera around so that you guys can see how I basically plan a general week. It might not necessarily be super in-depth, but it's just a basic kind of idea of how I'm going to be doing it. So something that is important when beginning planning, or for when I am going to start doing my planning, is I definitely need my computer here with me. My computer is just what I use, of course, to access different websites or different resources that I know I'm going to be using for my particular lessons throughout the week here. And it's just, I usually keep it up there above my planner so I can be looking at what I have to do on my planner, but also accessing whatever is up here on top of my computer. In addition to that, I also have a spare hard drive that I bring to and from school every day in case I need to access something, or I'm not able to get it on top of my computer. So one of the things that has really helped me this year is this hard drive. And the reason for that is because my computer had run out of space. And because it had ran out of space, I needed a hard drive in order to put all of my
teaching files onto, especially after coming off of a year where we had distance learning and we had all these digital online resources that, you know, teachers had to send out to their students throughout the year. So I found that doing this instead of keeping it on top of my computer there was so much easier and so much more accessible than having it just on top of my computer and then I forget my computer at school, or I, you know, there's just so many resources that it's hard for me to look through. So this is why I have this particular hard drive here, and I can do a separate video later on how I keep this hard drive and how I manage it and all the things like that. But this is important for me to have whenever I'm going to be planning. Also, on top of that, I do have here my just little baggie, and this little baggie here is just only holding my pens. So I like to write in erasable pen or erasable marker, and these are the Frixion Pilot pens, or you know, markers or whatever you want to call them, and they are erasable. So I like to use them just mainly because, one, I like the different colors. Two, sometimes it's just a little bit better than pencil. I do use pencil as well occasionally, but mainly I like to use the pens and the colors. It helps me to separate what I'm doing for all of my lessons throughout the entire week. So I just have a simple little baggie that I keep all of these markers and these pens inside of whenever I'm trying to plan for my particular lessons like that. So whatever you need in order to make planning and everything else for you easier, it's good to have these kind of resources, obviously. Alright, so let's get started with planning. So how do I actually do my planning for a particular week? If you noticed, I have already blocked off the times in which we have specific subjects going on. I know some of them are not necessarily readable, but they're just as good as, you know, something basic that I can look at and, you know, just kind of get an idea of what is happening in each time space or in each time frame. Generally, when I'm doing my planning in particular, I always like to take sections of my planner here, and that's how I like to work in particular. It's just easier for me to focus on top of one subject at a time instead of planning for one whole entire day. I just backwards plan. That's basically all that I do. So I have a goal that I have in mind for my students, and then I kind of figure out, okay, like if they're going to be taking a test on top of this Friday, then what do I need to do during the other times of the other days that will help them prepare for that. So that's basically kind of how I do it. I know some people like to take it day by day by day, but I personally just don't enjoy doing that just because I want to focus on one particular subject at a time. If I'm going through this first, I kind of plot in whatever we're kind of doing for the morning first, because that's one of the easier times. That's one of the easier times during the day. And basically we always here at Kaneohe Elementary School, we do something called a piko, which is a Hawaiian term, which actually means, but there's other meanings behind it as well. So the more deeper meaning is where we come together as a school, kind of like an assembly that happens every single day. And it's really quick. It only, you know, takes up so much time during the day, but it's something that I do need to plan for. So that time in the morning, we do get together and we do our chanting, our Hawaiian chanting, which is a very common thing here in Hawaii. We like to, of course, play to our local culture, and this is why, you know, we do that here at our school. It just connects everybody. Kind of like how people do assemblies and they sing your school song or the national anthem, things like that. Okay, so we do our chanting, and then once we come back to my class, we have class promises that we do. And so this is just something that over the years, I already know this is what we're doing inside of that morning. And so usually my planning is super simple, where I already know that this is all going to be the same. And I don't necessarily need to write anything else, if that makes sense, because I already know that these are always going to be happening inside of the morning. So my lesson plans are not necessarily very detailed. It's just a quick look for me on what I'm doing, what is probably happening during that time, and it's just a quick look where I can look at it. Oh, that's what we're doing, and I totally know what I wrote down and what I'm talking about. Of course, this is for obviously something that's not academic, but if we were talking about something that is academic, so if we are looking at math, then generally, yes, I might write down things a little more in-depth or a little more complex per se. I usually have to look back at what I did previously for the previous week to kind of see where I left off, and then of course I can kind of plan what I'm doing here inside of our math lessons. So for our math here at Kaneohe Elementary School, it's pretty simple. We just follow the Origo Stepping Stones math curriculum from cover to cover. For language arts, we've been using the McGraw-Hill Wonders program very sporadically. We also pull in a lot of other resources as well. So you know, the main thing for math is very easy for me because I'm able to just pretty much look at our lesson book that we have for math and to kind of already see what lesson I completed with them and what are the next lessons that we need to do. So that's pretty easy for planning for math. And honestly, if I was planning, then I would just put down, you know, the lesson unit. So this is unit 3, lesson 5, and then of course we might do some note taking during that time with the students, and maybe I have some other kind of worksheet or something else that, you know, I'm gonna have the kids do in addition to that particular lesson. So, you know, math for me is actually pretty easy when it comes to planning because we literally just follow whatever the program is here for the Origo Stepping Stones curriculum. Language arts can be a little bit more trickier in that sense, where we don't necessarily have select things or a select curriculum that we're using. We kind of do pull resources out from different places or different areas, and it just depends on whatever focus I'm going to be doing for the week or the next 2 weeks and things like that. So I think for this quarter we are going to be doing informational text, and that probably deals with like main idea, cause and effect, sequence, that kind of things. And so it just depends on top of the standard that we're doing, and then I will pull specific resources just for that. We do have another block here, and I know it's hard to read that, but it is for our specials blocks, and this is where I only plan for the science and the social studies, and we have a STEM class and a health class, or other classes like that, so art, PE, those kinds of things. The other teachers are actually responsible for teaching my students social studies, health, and STEM, and I am pretty much the science teacher, so I would only be planning for science for all of the 5th grade classes over here. And you know, that is again in of itself where it's pretty easy because I just know that my class will be getting science this whole entire week, and then the next week I will be with another class and teaching them science the whole entire week, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's basically pretty much how I do my planning. It should be very quick, should be very simple. I don't think planning should be really detailed. So even if you look at my planning that I had earlier, it's just a quick and dirty look at what I'm doing in particular. And that's how I do my planning and why it is very quick and very fast and easy for me in order to do everything that I want to do, and also not have to spend too much of my weekend having to plan and figure out what I'm doing. So.
Right, and I am now packing up and heading out for the day. So I didn't get to do quite as much as I thought I would be able to do today for planning wise and preparing for the new quarter, but that's okay. I don't necessarily have to be here at school to get everything completed. And yeah, I think I had a good day, just trying to look at what I need to do, trying to figure out things for the new quarter, and basically just getting ready, right? That's the main thing. The main thing is that you yourself as a teacher, you know, you feel prepared, you feel ready for whatever you guys got to do, and you know, that's the main thing. So I will definitely be taking the time to figure that out sometime during the rest of whatever fall break is left. And yeah, I think it'll be okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog video of me basically working and planning inside of my classroom space, and I will see all you guys later. Bye.